Hello, my name is Kunal Kamari and I am going to talk about the hypogastric region. So what are the organs which comes in the hypogastrium? Sigmoid colon, urinary bladder, prostate, uterus and the part of the small intestine. So what are the diseases which comes in the hypogastrium? First is diverticulitis, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, cystitis, prostatitis, benign enlargement of prostate, and the pelvic pain of gynecological origin. First, we will see diverticulitis. It is the inflammation of diverticulosis coli, which are the small herniations of mucosa and submucosa through the muscle layer. Pathogenesis. So there are the fecal plug obstruction of the neck of the diverticulum, which causes proliferation of bacteria, which induce the inflammation. Clinical features. There is a dull, continuous pain in the suprapubic region or in the left lower abdomen. Anorexia and nausea, rarely vomiting is there, and either diarrhea or constipation. A low grade fever and mild leukocytosis. Passage of the small stools and the bleeding per rectum. On examination, there may be tenderness on the left lower quadrant or tender mass which signifies the inflamed feces filled colon. So what are the investigations? First is the sigmoidoscopy, in which there is a edema and the erythema. Second is the barium enema. So there may be sawtooth projections from the contour of the colon, and there is champagne glass sign which signifies the partial filling of the diverticulum by the stercolith. Crohn's disease. It is a idiopathic chronic ulcerative inflammatory bowel disease. The location is a segment of terminal ileum and colon or terminal ileum or colon. So the clinical features are: first is the diarrhea, second is the loss of weight, and the third one is the abdominal pain. On examination, we may find slight fever, tenderness over the affected colon, lump due to the pericolonic thickening, and there may be complication like perianal abscess, fistula, and the fissure in ano. So what are the investigations? First is the sigmoidoscopy, which reveals if it is revealed normal rectum, then the diagnosis is goes in the favor of the Crohn's disease. There may be edematous mucosa, small petechiae, and small ulcers. Second is the barium enema. There is a partial obliteration of hostration, segmental involvement with intervening normal segments, fissures due to the deep ulcerations, and there may be cobblestone appearance. So there are mucosal nodules separated by the linear ulcers, giving rise to the cobblestone appearance. Ulcerative colitis. So it is a idiopathic form of acute and chronic ulcerative inflammatory colitis affecting the mucosa and submucosa of the rectum and the descending colon. So the clinical features are: there are three types of ulcerative colitis. First is a chronic and continuous. Second is a chronic relapsing and remitting, and the third one is the acute fulminant. So the features of the chronic and the continuous are: diarrhea, which gradually becomes worse. Lower abdominal cramps are there. Cramping followed by urgency with painful watery stool, which are mixed with the mucus, blood, and the pus. And there is a gradual weight loss and malnutrition of the patient. In the chronic relapsing, there is a bloody diarrhea and abdominal pain. And in the acute fulminant, there is a constant diarrhea, severe abdominal cramps are there, tenderness and tenesmus urgency is there. There may be 20 to 30 stools per day, watery stool mixed with the mucus, blood, and pus, and dehydration and marked weight loss. What are the investigations? Barium enema. There is a loss of hostration, and second is the irregularity of the colon, third is the pseudo polyps, and the fourth one is the colon become rigid and contracted. The sigmoidoscopy and the colonoscopy. The mucosa is erythematous and granular. So the complications of the are hemorrhage, and second is the perforation, third one is the stricture formation, perianal and the perirectal abscess is there, and there may be toxic megacolon, and there may be cancer of colon. So now we will differentiate between the Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. The site is the terminal ileum and or ascending colon in the Crohn's disease, and in ulcerative colitis it is the rectum and sigmoid colon. Distribution: segmental with skip lesions, and in ulcerative colitis it is without skip lesions. Total colon involvement is less frequent in the CD and is more frequent in the ulcerative colitis. Rectal involvement is 50% in the CD but is 95% in the ulcerative colitis. Small bowel involvement is 50% in the CD and is 10% in the ulcerative colitis. The bowel wall is thick and fibrotic in the Crohn's disease, and in the ulcerative colitis it is a thin. The microscopic features. In the Crohn's disease there are deep ulcers and fissures and cobblestone appearance. In ulcerative colitis it is a crypt abscess, pseudopolyps and pinpoint ulcers and red mucosa. The clinical features. Diarrhea, it is common to both. Fever is common in the Crohn's disease, is not common in the ulcerative colitis. Mass is common in the Crohn's disease but is rare in the ulcerative colitis. The toxic megacolon is rare in the CD but is more common in the ulcerative colitis. Fistula is very common in the Crohn's disease. It is uncommon in the ulcerative colitis. Stricture is common in the CD. It is ulcerative colitis. It is rare. Malignancy is low in the CD but in ulcerative colitis it is high 10 years after infection. Bleeding is uncommon in the CD but is very common in the ulcerative colitis. Cystitis. It is the inflammation of the urinary bladder. It is common in the females than the males due to the short length of the urethra. The clinical features are: there is a frequent urge to urinate. Second is the urgency. Third is the pain. There is a hematuria, and the fifth one is the pyuria. So what are the signs of cystitis? There is a tenderness over the hypogastrium. WBC and ES are increased, and the urine examination shows pus cells and bacteria and RBC. Benign enlargement of prostate. So what are the clinical features? First one is hesitancy. The patient must wait for urination to start. If he strains, the time is more. Second is the dysuria. There is a weakness, weak stream, and the dribbles. Third one is the frequency. It is the characteristic symptoms and the earliest symptoms, and it starts at the night, but then gradually it becomes the day and night. Fourth one is the urgency. Due to the invasion of the prostate into the bladder, a little urine escapes into the prostatic urethra, which is highly sensitive and cause intense desire to urinate. Fifth is the hematuria. Due to the rupture of the dilated veins at the base of the bladder due to the straining. So there is a blood in the urine. Sixth is the pain. Although the enlargement is the painless condition, but the pain is due to the secondary change caused by the enlargement, like cystitis, acute retention, hydronephrosis, and the fullness in the rectum. Seventh is the retention of the urine, and the last is the renal failure. So what are the examinations? So local examination, there is a full bladder renal enlargement is there. In the rectal examination, the lateral lobes of the prostate are enlarged, and in the bimanual examination, there is an intravesical median lobe enlargement. So what are the investigations? So there is a loss of projectile stream and the dribbling is there. Urine examination may be needed, and the estimation of the prostate specific antigen, with the upper limit is the 4 nanomole per ml, which is specific for the we rule out the diagnosis of the cancer of the prostate. And there's a excretory urography, which indicate the function of each kidney, and if there is an obstruction leading to the hydroureter or the hydronephrosis, it may be detected, and there intravesical encroachment of the prostate may be revealed, and if there are diverticula, it is detected. Cystoscopy to rule out the urethral strictures and bladder change like the trabeculations, presence of the diverticulum or the stones. The residual urine may be measured, and the Marian signs, it is often positive. In the normal individuals, the internal urethral meatus and the ureteric orifice are not visible in the same cystoscopic field, but in the enlargement, this is possible as the urethral opening is pushed into the bladder. And the last one is the USG, which is more specific for the condition. Prostatitis, which is the inflammation of the prostate. So the clinical features are there is a burning sensation during the micturition, purulent urethral discharge may be seen, and there is a hematuria, there may be perineal heaviness, and the last one is the pain on the defecation. So what are the signs? So there may be high fever, tenderness and enlargement of the prostate. Seminal vesicle may be tender to touch. Investigations. WBC are elevated. Examination of the prostatic secretion and the urethroskopy. So the last is the pelvic pain of gynecological origin. If the pain is in the body of the uterus, it is referred to the hypogastrium or in the anterior median aspect of the thighs. If the pain is in the fallopian tube and the ovaries, it is referred to the above mid-inguinal point. So there are two types, acute and the chronic. So what are the causes of the acute pelvic pain? Ruptured chocolate cyst, ruptured corpus luteum, acute pelvic inflammatory disease, abortion, and hyperstimulation syndrome. This is the exaggerated response of the ovaries due to the excess hormones. And hematometra, which is the collection of the blood and the retention in the uterus. And the pyometra, which is the infection of the uterus. So pain of gynecological origin starts as in the lower abdomen and then spread to the entire abdomen. Frequent micturition, dysuria with or without the fever. The diagnosis may be UTI. Fever with chills and the rigors. It may be PID. And pain with the syncopal attacks with the collapse. It may suggest peritoneal hemorrhage. So what are the causes of the chronic pelvic pain? So there are two types, cyclic and the second is the acyclic. In the cyclic, intermenstrual pain, dysmenorrhea, premenstrual syndrome, and the endometriosis, and the adenomyosis, in which the tissue of the endometrium grows in the walls of the uterus. And in acyclic, there may be pelvic inflammatory disease, uterine prolapse, ovarian cyst, pelvic adhesions, and the IUD. So pelvic inflammatory disease. There is a bilateral lower abdomen and the pelvic pain, which is dull in nature, fever, headache, and excessive bleeding, and the purulent discharge may be seen. Nausea, vomiting, and the dyspareunia. Fitch-Hugh-QT syndrome. There is a pain in the right hypochondrium due to the concomitant perihepatitis. There may be bilateral tenderness, raised C-reactive protein, and the ESR. What is endometriosis? It is a tissue of the uterus grows outside the uterus. The common age is 30 to 45 and is seen in the nulliparous and the infertility cases. There is a pain prior to menstruation which aggravates during and takes time to go after the cessation of menses. There may be dysmenorrhea and the dyspareunia. The powder burn lesion are the characteristic symptoms. There may be premenstrual spotting and there may be menorrhagia and also backache. There may be pelvic tenderness. There are nodules in the pouch of Douglas. There may be uni or the bilateral adnexal mass, retroverted uterus, and the last one is the serum marker CA125.